If you have an idea for a new invention, or maybe you have invented something and you're anywhere on that path to commercialization and you're feeling stuck or confused about what to do next, you just don't know why. Maybe you're getting ghosted by companies and they're not responding to you, or you haven't quite been able to, on the front end of your invention, hash out or flesh out exactly how it could be made so that it would do the job that you want. Well, stick around because today I'm going to show you a way that you can be absolutely certain about what you should do next without even inventing a crystal ball. Hi, Lisa Lloyd here with more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you optimize and accelerate your invention licensing success. If you're visiting for the first time today, welcome to my channel. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you hear today. It's a free way to support me, and it lets YouTube know how to put me in front of other people going forward. And when you hit that notification bell, you'll be the first to know when I posted a new video each and every time. Now, obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, and I had no way of knowing whether any of the ideas that I had ultimately licensed were going to be successful. What I did have was a deep resolve to get it done. I was able to get to $1 million net worth by the time I was 30, but don't be too impressed by that because I also lost it all 12 years later. I did a full video on that, and you can catch that video here. But the bottom line is that everything that I learned from that failure can be summed up in the 5 things that I want to share with you today. Now, don't get me wrong, there are lots of other tips, tricks, and strategies that you can use to help eliminate or at least mitigate failure along the way. But if you can understand in principle the 5 things that I'm about to share with you, it is going to make an extraordinary difference, not only in your outlook, but ultimately it absolutely will guarantee your success. So remember this. At the end of the day, everything you do, both as an inventor and entrepreneur and in life in general, is one giant experiment. So, number one is experiment. When you enter entrepreneurship, you are literally charting new territory, and you're kind of like a bushwhacker. You are banging out of the way things that otherwise would be perceived by other people as a problem and something maybe even not worth chasing down. But in our case, as entrepreneurs and as inventors, we are the proverbial bushwhackers, breaking down barriers and charting new territory for those that might come up behind us, from the moment you have an idea all the way through the successful license of your idea. And that brings me to number 2, which is fail. Maybe you're fortunate and you've read all of the books and you've taken all of the YouTube tutorials, or maybe got a coach or joined some groups where you're getting a lot of great learnings. And it is helping you mitigate your risks so you're failing less. But let me be very clear. If you're not failing at all, you're not trying hard enough. Failure is absolutely a part of this process. The good news is that failure isn't the end of the road, or it doesn't have to be if you don't quit. It actually is just a stepping stone to what comes next. And that's number 3, learn. Again, if you're really making an effort as an entrepreneur or inventor, then failure is going to be part of that process, but you can learn from it. Just lean into it. Don't be afraid of it. Make it your teacher. And as you learn from it, you can glean from it the golden nuggets that, yes, may have been expensive lessons, both in time and money or energy, resources, whatever that is, but it will be the most valuable lesson, and I guarantee you won't make that mistake again. And if you're questioning whether or not that's true, think about it for a moment with me right now. Think back to your greatest lesson. Something that immediately comes to mind was just one of the best lessons you ever had. Did it really come from success, or was it the result of something probably very painful? Because I think the more it hurt, the more it cost you, the deeper, the more rich the lesson is that comes out of it, if you're a learner, that is. Let me know in the comments below if that's you. I don't want to get too far off track, but seriously, the greatest lessons come from failure, not from success. And those lessons tell us what to do next. And that brings us to number 4, implement. This is what my kitchen table looks like. And this is what a corner in my kitchen has looked like for over a year between the two of them. The hazards of being an inventor. I'm now on version 7 of what I hope will be my greatest invention ever, but it's taking a lot of iterations, V1, V2, right? Version 1, version 2, if you're not familiar with that phrase. I'm on version 7 because every single time that I have, and let me tell you, I was sure, as sure as I could be in my head that this iteration was going to be the one that got me over the hump. And I would order more parts or have changes made to the engineering drawings so that I could print new ones. And it just kept failing. But I can tell you that I am smarter than I was before I started significantly with regard to gears. It's giving me new ideas for other things that I can do with this technology now that I'm proficient in it or fairly proficient in it. And I am more confident than ever that this product is really going to be the best invention I've ever had. But I couldn't get to that confidence without the failure and the learning from it. If I got stuck in the failure, keep in mind that's just going to hold me back and I'm never going to want to do anything again. I'll just end up in the fetal position feeling like a failure. Nobody wants that. But if I recognize my failures, and sometimes the more painful ones are really kind of coming from inside of me. It's not so much that I missed a step that I didn't know to take, the unknown unknowns. I can't control those. But it's where maybe I shortchanged myself because I tried to be cheap or I tried to take a shortcut or whatever, and I knew better. And those are painful lessons because I could have avoided them. But at the same time, I wouldn't have known what I know now had I not gone through that process. So I still look at it from a friendly, kind perspective for myself about the invention. And then from that learning, I'm able to implement the changes that come with it. Do I get frustrated or angry? Of course I do. But it just fuels the fire to solve the puzzle. And I love solving puzzles. And whether you're iterating on the fuzzy front end of ideation or negotiating that deal and going through that particular part of the process, or really anything in between, you should always be learning. So, number 5 is repeat. Everything you do and every conversation that you have is teaching you how to shore things up. It is filling in the gaps in your thinking for those unknown unknowns. So let me just park there for one quick second. If you haven't heard about this, and I talk about it a lot, but if you're new for the first time here, you may have not heard me explain that you have your known knowns, your known unknowns, and your unknown unknowns. And the unknown unknowns are the places that we tend to get the most stuck. And if you go into it thinking that you know everything or that you even know what you don't know and you're trying to find those answers, then you potentially back yourself into a corner because those unknown unknowns are the ones that bite you in the butt later. So go into everything knowing that you don't know anything or you know very little or you know just enough, but you certainly don't know everything. And then from those learnings, you're able to, again, with the next learning, the next little piece of information, experiment, fail, learn, implement what you've learned, and then repeat. So you've got your 5 steps there. I hope this has been helpful for you. And if you've enjoyed this, please don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Like I said, it's a free way to support me and it helps YouTube know who else to put me in front of. Dare to dream and imagine what's possible when powered by innovation.